So, to kick us off for today, let me introduce you to Jeff Reich, the Executive Director of the Identity-Defined Security Alliance, joining us live from Texas in the US. Thanks, Jeff. Your show.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to try to see it's going the wrong way. Let me do one other thing here. That's much better, right? Yes. So it's a pleasure to be here, my pleasure to be here. Thank you for putting up with the patience, but from what I saw, there's a bar there, which might make putting up with patience a bit easier, I would think. So since I'm not there, I've already told Adrian he owes me at least a beer when I come down to visit.
You bet.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to spend a few minutes, I have a few prepared remarks. If we have the opportunity, I'm not sure, with everything else going on, and all the bits having to go underneath the Pacific Ocean, how well we can, but I'm happy to take questions as we go through as well. To let you know who I am. That's me. I'm the Executive Director at IDSA. My name is Jeff Rich. Those are two hashtags, by the way, as you go through your identity management sessions today. Please, as you use social media, use those two hashtags. We'd appreciate it. You'll be seeing us do that later on today for you, where it's going to be happening in the U.S., which is in around 9 hours. So I get to do double duty here, and I love it. Also, should you want to attend the session that's going on in the U.S., you can either attend live or look at recorded sessions. The advantage to going live is there are going to be some prizes. It's all online, so you have an opportunity to do that. But should you not decide to stay awake all night to join our session, you can still register, and for the next 30 days, our sessions are available in the event site that we're using. After that, we'll section them off and put them up in BrightBox, so we'll still have availability for all that going forward. Now, one thing we're doing, I want to go over a couple things here. One thing that we're going to be doing at our Identity Management Day here in the U.S. is we're recognizing, and it is worldwide, by the way, I don't want to say it's U.S. only, we are recognizing 4 industry recognitions with awards, and I'm going to go real quickly through what the 4 categories are. There is Enterprise Project of the Year associated with identity management. There's the Best Identity-Based Zero Trust Initiative. There is the Small and Medium Business Project of the Year and Identity Management Leader of the Year Award. Now, of these 4, just so you know, and I'm not saying anything other than I do know that at least 2 Australian submissions were put in as nominations. So there's more incentive for you to join our session or look at the recordings and see if some Australians might have possibly won. I know they're in the running. We had a lot of good entries, including the ones we saw from Australia. So thank you very much for participating. We do have some entries from all over the world. So it's really nice to know that this being our 3rd Identity Management Day now has a reach where there's a session going on in Australia. We have participants coming from Europe and the rest of Asia as well. So this is now becoming a true worldwide event. This was started by Julie Smith. She's the founding executive director, and after tomorrow, she is retiring to the board for Identity-Defined Security Alliance, and I'm now attempting to fill her shoes and everything she's done over the past 4 or 5 years. I'd be remiss not to mention our sponsors that we have for our session. We have a lot of great sponsors. Each of them not only have some opportunities to let you chat live with them should you want to do that if you join, but they're all also donating some prizes for that competition I talked about. I'm going to spend in just a couple minutes, I'll talk about what those are and how you could potentially get in the running for winning some of them. You may recognize some of the logos here. These are all players in the identity space, identity and security space. I did just mention prizes, so I'm going to list a few of the ones we have. More incentive for you to grab some caffeine and stay up for our session, because you do need to be involved in the live session in order to win. We won't be awarding any prizes to those looking at the recorded session, but we have autographed books, some that are technical security books, some we have a thriller, a novel about cyber. And there's going to be 2 autographed copies of that. We have Amazon gift cards, we have AirPod Pros. It's a new car. It's a Lego version 911, but still, it's a new car. We have Visa gift card and Oculus headset. I don't know how that went over in the room, but that was my joke for the day. We have a Ruth Chris gift card, Giftogram, and something that I think you'd have to travel to the U.S. to do, a supercar track experience, where you get, I think, to do a few laps on a racetrack in a race car. You can either do it on your own or accompanied. So some really good prizes in there. Really appreciate what our sponsors have done with us. I mentioned the 4 categories of awards. That's going to happen at the beginning of our session today. The prizes will happen at the end, which will be at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be in the neighborhood of, 9 a.m. Tomorrow, I think, for you, by the time it finishes. I'm going to throw in a few facts here just to talk about what identity-defined security alliance is all about and why we exist, and why Identity Management Day is so important, and I'm glad to see that it is being recognized worldwide. We conduct a survey every year. Here's some information from last year's survey. This year's survey, we are just compiling the final report, and it will be released by the end of May. So we're less than 2 months from releasing that report. But one thing we discovered is 84% of organizations during the time that we surveyed, of the organizations we surveyed, had an identity-related breach, and 78% of them had direct business impact. That's a nice way of saying they lost some money, customers, or reputation as a result of that. 84%. So our job here in helping to manage identities better and protect them is far from over. 22% of U.S. households, now this is a U.S. specific question, but 22%, and this came from security.org, have been a victim of account takeover with an average financial loss to a household of $12,000 U.S. So even though that's only 22%, for that 22%, it's 100% of them. And that's a pretty significant loss when you consider they didn't do anything wrong other than either maybe not protect their identity well enough, or even if they did, they may still become a victim. 54% of all security incidents are caused by credential theft, and credential theft goes directly to identity. That's from the Ponemon survey. And the last one I have here is 82% of all breaches analyzed over the last year had a human element in it, which, and this came from the Verizon Data Breach Investigations report. That means it was very likely social engineering. So as much as, and I know some of the sponsors and vendors there, and the ones we have as well, have fantastic tools that you can implement, and in many cases should implement, to help get the right controls in place for yourself. Without the right awareness and education for everyone, we are still going to be up in the more than 3/4, more than 80% of all organization breaches will still come from social engineering. That's what we need to help get in front of. I lied, that wasn't my last one. 96%, that's essentially all of them. Everyone thinks that they could have prevented or minimized their breaches by using identity-related security outcomes. That came out of our survey as well. That's a very telling statement. What that says is no one's doing enough yet to do this. And it doesn't have to be draconian, but none of us are doing enough yet. I'm going to close this up, and we're pretty close to it, I think, with giving you the information here. Should you want to register for the event that's going to go either live or look at the recorded sessions, just go to IdentityManagementDay.org. And I'm going to ask again those 2 hashtags that you see, be identity smart and be cyber smart, to have that in there. Now, I know we were going to spend a few more minutes talking, but I know that with all the technology challenges we may have had, you're probably running a bit behind. So I want to give you an opportunity to catch up or answer any questions you have. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to share with you. I'm looking forward to, Adrian and I were talking, maybe next year I'll be in Australia for Identity Management Day. I think that would be great. And I'm honored to have been asked to participate in yours. So thank you very much. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Folks, any questions? Anything with Jeff before we close there? I don't think so. Looking around the room. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you, Adrian, very much. And have a successful Identity Management Day. And I look forward to seeing some of you in a later event as well, if you can stay awake for hours. I'm sure yours will be fine.
We might still be going from tonight, Jeff.
Okay, there you go. We'll just do a feed the other way.
Fantastic. All right. Groovy. Jeff, we'll let you get back to your evening over there in Texas, and we'll kick on with the rest of the day here. Thank you very much.
I know.
All right. Lawrence, can I get you to reconnect over there? And while you do that, I will mumble and do housekeeping and stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adrian Bolle. Thank you so much for joining us here for Identity Management Day here in Melbourne. So if you need a bio break, there are some bathrooms just around to the right here, or further out by the stairs as you come in. All of our speakers today have been carefully selected and hand curated to present to you all the new ideas that you'll be coming up with. Speakers, when it's your turn for the agenda, and hopefully you've got the agenda handy, if you could make your way over to this side so I may pass you the microphone. Now, I have to warn you, I will be absolutely ruthless with our timer, so each speaker only has 20 minutes to share with you new ideas and inspire you to take some good back to your organisations.